From a book written by the great art teacher Cassie Stephens, I learned that kumihimo is a Japanese form of braided cord making. In Japanese, kumihimo means gathered threads. Historically, these braided cords were used by the samurai to lace their armor. To make this really interesting cord design, we are going to use a round loom to weave on. You can turn this into a bracelet when you're done, or just leave it as a cord, hang it on your backpack. To start with, you need 4 strands of each color. So you're going to choose 2 colors. I have 4 of this red and 4 of the blue. They need to be long, maybe a little longer depending on how big you want your cord to end up. Bunch them all together and tie an over-under knot or an overhand knot. So we make a loop, push this bundle of yarn through it, basic knot. Grab your circular loom. This is the front side. I've put all kinds of letters and numbers and arrows on here to guide you guys. So looking at it from the front, we're going to take this little knot and we're going to push it through. Think of this guy like a little man here with his crazy hair. We need to pull that hair back as we push it through the hole. Wiggle it through. On the back side, pull that knot and his little hairdo through and straighten it out. And then pull it so it's snug like that. Looking back at the front side, let's put the A's at the top and bottom, kind of like north-south. And we'll have the B's east-west. To set up your loom, take 4 strands, the 4 of one color. And we're going to make an X. Pull 2 strands to the top A's and slide them into the notch. Take the other 2 and pull them to the bottom A in the notch. You now have an X. Do the same thing with your others, putting 2 in the B side and the other B side. As we get going here, I want you to know this. You have 2 X's. We will also have a forked position. The arrows are here to tell you to always turn this direction like a clock. And we never want to cross our hands. So I'm going to keep my left hand on the left side and my right hand on the right side like a steering wheel. We're going to start by taking the bottom A, pull it out of the notch. I tell my students, follow the arrow. I'm never going to cross over. Keep your elbows at your side. So swing it up like the hands of a clock and set it into that notch that I labeled number 1. You now have the fork that I just mentioned. Next, take the right top strand and you're going to take it like the hand of a clock, never crossing, and down, and you're going to stick it in the number 2 down here. We are back to an X. At this point, you're going to turn like a steering wheel, always going to the right, follow the arrows, and we repeat the process. I'm going to take this bottom left, swing it up into that notch, and I have a fork. Take my right hand, grab the right strand, and swing it down like the hand of a clock to the bottom where it's labeled number 4 and pop it in. At this point, you repeat that process over and over again. The letters and the numbers don't mean anything anymore. They were there to help you get set up. So, time to turn the clock. Follow the arrows, turn it clockwise, and X. I'm constantly straightening out these strands with my fingers so that I don't end up with a big tangle. Again, bottom left to the top left, fork. Top right to the bottom right, and then turn. Bottom left, top left, and add a fork. top right, the bottom right. Once again, never pull a strand up and go across. Keep your elbows at your side. That will help you not do that. Always move your strand around like it's a hand of a clock. I'm ready to turn. If you have to, jump up and go potty or something, you got to set this guy down. Always leave it in the forked position. Where you are in your weaving. You always know if you've left it in the forked position that the next strand to move is the top right, always. So that's a good place to leave it if you have to stop for the day. Every once in a while, you're going to flip it over and give this a little tug. It takes a front to start seeing the weaving coming out of the back side. This is how it will come out. It will start creating this cord that's producing from the bottom side of your loom. Notice it creates this nice spiral effect, so 2 contrasting colors are a good choice. Once you finish a cord, you're going to make sure you have a knot at both ends and trim off the little hairdo. And to create it into a bracelet, we're going to overlap the bracelet. Notice I'm overlapping right here. Grab a scrap of yarn, any scrap you like, matching color or not. Just need 6 or 7 inches. I'm going to wrap this around this overlapping cord right here. Give it a couple wraps, maybe 3, 4, 5. Once you've overlapped it a bunch of times, tie a square knot. So I'm crisscrossing like when you start to tie your shoes, and crisscross again to turn it into a knot that can't come undone. Trim off the excess. Now you have an adjustable bracelet. You can slide them apart to make it big enough to get on your wrist, and then you can slide them together or closed to make it tighter. Ta-da!